Welcome to Epic Begins with One Step Forward. I'm your host, Zander Sprague, and I am so delighted that you've joined me today. I wanted to start off with the thought of the day. Travel the road before you one step at a time. What do I mean by that? Look, we all have big goals, and it may be a long journey that you're on, but you can only travel the road that's right in front of you. Now, I know I talk a lot about my running days and stuff, but it does really apply. When I ran my first marathon, the only way that I could get through that was to travel the road that was right in front of me, even though there may be many miles more that I had to run. I could only travel the road that was right in front of me. And that is so true for all of our lives. We have to walk the road that's in front of us. We can think about what's ahead. We can think about what was behind us, but we can only travel where we are right now. And when you're on your epic journey, keep in mind that you really want to just focus on the road in front of you, because that's where you are. That's the only thing that you can do. So just remember, one step at a time, and you will make it to your epic destination. I wanted to give you an update from one of my podcast guests, Tim Thomas. You might remember that Tim talked to us about the importance of sleep, and that is so very important. In this day and age where we have so much distraction going on, I don't know about you, but I work hard not to bring my phone into me when I go to bed, because that's a distraction. Now I'm awake and I'm not going to sleep. My brain gets activated. Sleep is so important to you. And as you'll find out from my guest, we're going to talk a little about the importance of sleep and what he does, but I don't want to spoil it quite yet. So sleep is so important. You should really be trying to get 6 to 7 hours of sleep. 8 is ideal, but in this day and age, that just may not be realistic. If you're having challenges with your sleep, I encourage you to go listen to that episode with Tim Thomas, because he talks about some great breathing techniques that can help you if you wake up in the middle of the night. So check that out. And I'm so excited because I have an awesome guest for you today. I've got Tommy Wolf. Tommy, welcome to the Epic Begins with One Step Forward show. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Yeah, Xander, appreciate you having me out here. So I'm a chiropractor, been practicing here in the Concord area for 12 years now. It's me and my wife. She's also a chiropractor, so we got that, that husband and wife duo in there. And it's been great, and just seeing how being able to unlock really the health potential in people through their spine, through their nervous system. It's just very gratifying, and it's very rewarding.
Absolutely, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit, but I always like to find out how people got to where they are. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little about, where you grew up, what you did before you became a chiropractor.
Yeah, for sure. I grew up, I'm local, I grew up in Antioch, and Antioch, when I was there, was a big baseball town, so just baseball was everything, and got the opportunity to go down to Long Beach State and play some ball down there. And I graduated a degree in kinesiology, which is the study of movement, muscle joints, biomechanics. And there was a point in that time where it was kind of like, what do you do? Baseball's done. You're kind of like, all right. So one of the first transitions was personal training. So I went to the Valley Total Fitness, was right down the street. Mm-hmm. So I started training there with a couple of buddies of mine. And, as time gone on, some of my buddies were looking for that next level of training. Mm-hmm. And, just something wasn't clicking with me with the personal training aspect. Mm-hmm. I love fitness. I love working out, still do it. But it just wasn't something that I wanted to continue to do. So just so happens, I got a little break. I'm going through my workout routine. I'm on the hack squat. You remember the hack squat machine?
Unfortunately, yes, I do. It's not my friend.
Yeah. So for all you listening, the hack squat is that 45-degree squat machine, and it's very difficult to do. and it kind of sucks, actually. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just one of those exercises you do to just challenge yourself. But at the time, I put on the weight there, and as I went down, I felt a pop in my back.
Oh, no.
Zander, I've never had a back problem in my life. So that definitely woke me up. But you know what? When you're working out, you just don't stop your workout on a simple pop. So went out, stretched out, hopped back in there, went down, felt another pop again. So I was like, all right, let's just call it for today. But being in that mode, you know, like you don't stop your workout program. So the next day I'm in there, and what am I working out? I'm working out back.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing I do is bent over rows. So I grabbed the bar, I got some weight on there. As I go down, felt that third pop, and I was like, damn, now I got a back problem.
Yeah.
Like 3 pops in the same spot.
Yeah.
Not good. So one of my clients actually referred a chiropractor to me. And at this point in time, Zander, I've never even had a conversation about chiropractic.
Sure.
Right? So I was a blank canvas going into this whole experience. And I still remember driving down to Newport Beach. Dr. Grecian was my chiropractor. And he pulled me to the side and explained to me the spine and the nervous system. And I remember being so fascinated by the spine and to the nervous system. Because to me at the time, with my level of education, if you have a nerve problem, that's like the worst problem you could have.
Sure.
So I'm sitting there listening to this chiropractor, and I'm like, damn, these chiropractors are kind of like neurologists. Mm-hmm. But instead of looking for the diseases and trying to medicate for diseases of the nervous system, they're looking for the health and well-being of the nervous system and adjusting the spine to restore that balance.
Sure.
And I loved it. And I think Dr. Grecian saw that because he even suggested I become a chiropractor. And, you know, at the point in time, I was like, man, I just graduated. I'm not trying to go back to school.
Sure.
You know, especially with something that level of intensity.
Definitely.
Of school. So I had my hesitations and then ended up going and to Life Chiropractic West right here in Hayward. Mm-hmm. And then did the time, did the studies. And after school, I went and worked for a chiropractor in the Illinois area, Chicago, Illinois area, to Florida, and then made my way back home. So.
And that is quite the epic journey. Mm-hmm. So just going back, if you don't mind, as you said, when you thought about, I don't want to go back to school and that's going to be really hard. Did you find that because it was something that was really interesting to you, that it wasn't as hard as like in school when you took a subject that you weren't so excited about?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, absolutely. Because like when you go into the school, you're pretty much starting from ground up again. Anatomy, physiology, biochems, you know, microbiology. So you're learning all those subjects. And I love anatomy. I love physiology. And I always thought if I could explain that to a patient anatomically and they could get it anatomically, they're just going to have a better foundation for their health and well-being.
Definitely.
And so I was all about it. I loved every minute of it and the social aspect of it, you know, and just each quarter, the different things to do. You know, you start to get your hands on people about like second quarter, you start doing little hands-on. Then, you know, as a graduate going on, you start to adjust. So it gets a little fun, yeah.
Definitely. So what is it about getting to be a chiropractor? Like, there are obviously many aspects. You're helping people, but for you, when you get to do an adjustment on someone who perhaps, you know, you get your hands on them and you're like, ooh, really, maybe their hip girdle's really out of whack. What is it for you? What's that experience for you when you're like, you see that relief that you provide?
It's huge. It's huge, especially that first adjustment is big because, you know, a lot of people are walking around, they're like just trapped in their bodies. They're like almost like a prisoner in a sense where they got spinal misalignments, they got stress on the nervous system, they got a stressful lifestyle. And what the science tells us is that when you have dysfunction in the spine, it actually produces more stress.
Sure.
Higher cortisol levels, the whole biochemistry behind it. So when they get that first adjustment, it's almost just like a break in the system where the stress is turned off for just a short amount of time. and then their body starts to regroup. You mentioned sleep in your opener. They get like this transformational sleep. For example, we had a patient, he just recently started on care, and I mean, this guy is stressed, super busy. He's transferring his business from Antioch to Pacheco.
Sure.
So he's got that high stress. I mean, and he could barely even walk without getting fatigued, pain, and everything. And the first adjustment was the first time he slept throughout the entire night in about 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
That must have been epic for him.
Oh, for sure. Unbelievable. Because, like, you heal when you sleep.
Yeah.
You know, so that's one of the things we see with our patients is we want to identify how are you sleeping. If you're not sleeping, you know, that's one of the first priorities we got to get to as we start to mobilize the spine and balance out the nervous system.
Absolutely. And of course, our bodies are amazing. And they are really always trying for homeostasis.
Exactly.
They're looking for the balance. And if you're walking around and something's out of alignment, your homeostasis, like this gentleman, is left of center. It's not, it's your body's like, okay, well, here's how we are, but that's not actually how I want to be. Put them back into alignment, all of a sudden the body goes, oh, here we go.
Yeah, just a glimpse, a glimpse. Because a lot of people are walking around and they just had this dysfunction and this stress on the nervous system for years. And what we teach our patients is how the nervous system develops as they go through their care. Because it's patterning, right? Just like a thought pattern. Right? You see something that reminds you of something, and that's a pattern that goes on in your nervous system. So when they have that dysfunction going on, especially for years, decades, their nervous system has been constantly trying to adapt to dysfunction.
Sure.
So as they go through a process, it's almost like unraveling all that past part. And what we tell them is that, like, if health was level, right? You have the health level, you with the spinal dysfunction and the pain and the stress and the bad sleep and the stress and anxiety, you're like in the negative. So like when we improve your spine and balance your nervous system, we just got you to 0. The next level is maintaining that. And that's where you really level up.
Definitely. So some people may have, there may be some common misconceptions about chiropractic.
Oh, yeah,
care.
Totally.
So maybe you could take a minute and sort of dispel some of the, some of the more prevalent, like that you hear in your practice, that where you're like, yeah, no, that's either not what chiropractic is, or, no, that's not, that's not accurate.
Yeah, totally. So like, we all like to watch YouTube and see the cracks and stuff like that and all these home run adjustments. So a lot of times people, they're looking for that home run adjustment, right? And, I played baseball and I tried to hit home runs a lot, and every time I did, it didn't work out. So I think one of the things that people got to learn is that it took a process to get them to where they're at. It takes a process to get to where you want to be. So accept the process, learn as much as you can about your spine and your nervous system, get involved in your care, and you're going to get a much better experience. I guess one of the other, for chiropractic, it's kind of like a benefit and like a negative in a sense, where like it's so broad what you could do with your chiropractic license, you know what I mean? Which makes it to the point where people don't really know what they're getting into.
I was going to get into that because I've had chiropractic care and benefited from it. I personally like to go to a chiropractor who, that's what they're doing. I'm there for an adjustment. I don't need, balloons up my nose to realign my cranium. I don't need cold laser therapy. I want someone who's like focus on that, because a lot of, I've been into offices where there's, as you said, I'm not quite sure what they're offering me. It seems like they're offering everything. And it sort of reminds me, I years ago read this marketing book, and they were talking about like trying to keep your message, on point. And they talked about what happened to Sears. And growing up, I knew what Sears was. You went to Sears because you needed clothes, tools, or appliances. Everyone knew that. That's what you went to Sears, and that's what they sold. All of a sudden, you could get your taxes done, and you could get financial advice. And now people didn't know what Sears stood for. It seemed to stand for everything.
Yeah.
I need to get a screwdriver, and I need to get my taxes done, and I want some advice on my 401k, all in one store. Although convenient, there's brand confusion.
Yeah.
And there are some chiropractors that, again, you're like, wow, there is so much I don't know what I need. And they're trying to sell you every...
Yeah, and that's kind of like just like Sears, chiropractic, any other like profession and business, right? You want to be able to be the one-stop shop and specific at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's a tough balance.
It is, and I mean, as I said, this is just my own personal opinion. I want a chiropractor I'm going in for an adjustment. There's other places I could go and say, I want the expert. I mean, you're supposedly an expert. Show me that you have that deep expertise, not, oh, well, I can do all these different things. Some of it is related to chiropractic, but other, I'm like, well, how are you qualified? Right, yeah. And I've asked that question because it's my body and I want to know what training do you have? And some people, oh, yeah, I took a certification course. How long was that? A weekend. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's so many modalities out there you can dip into, you know.
Definitely.
We try to keep it more neurologically based in our office, so we measure the different types of nerves because there's 3 types of nerves. And this is part of the education that the patients go to. You got the sensory nerves that tell you how you feel. And those are very important because they adapt you to the environment. Right? Heat, touch, everything. But you also got the motor nerves and the autonomic. Motor nerves control the muscles, autonomic nerves control your organs. But the thing is that the sensory nerves make up 10 to 20% of your nervous system, and the pain nerves like 3% of your nervous system. So there's a lot going on without you feeling bad or pain.
Yeah.
So we can now measure like the 80 to 90% of your nervous system that doesn't tell you how you feel, and it makes it a real good tracking measure. Because you can get adjusted a couple times and feel great, but did you really make a change?
Yeah.
You can work out twice and feel stronger, but you're not strong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
totally.
So you go through the process, and because when you look at chiropractic, especially from like its history, the first adjustment restored a man's hearing, and the next one was improve the guy's heart disease. So like the foundation, the historical components of chiropractic wasn't even really spinal. It was health and well-being.
Definitely.
And that's what we try to educate patients, because in a sense where it's like, if you only stop at the spinal musculoskeletal, you're not even getting the full potential out of your body and out of your spine and your nervous system, because you're just limited.
Yeah.
So like we have workshops in the office where we go to science, data, research. We show them a live adjustment so they can understand what I'm thinking in my head. Because we do a lot of pre-post checks to make sure they're nice and balanced.
Definitely.
So it's a big educational part. And when the patients really dive into it, it's just, it's a rabbit hole.
Yeah. No, definitely. And look, our bodies are complex. As you said, 80 to 90% of our nerves, we're unaware of whatever feedback they may be putting out. That's pretty significant.
Well, it's kind of like, what is it, like 70% of people who have their first heart attack, the first sign is the actual heart attack.
Yeah.
It's like they woke up the morning feeling fine.
Yeah.
That evening having a heart attack.
Yeah.
Most likely it was a Monday evening.
Yeah.
Statistically.
Yeah.
But, so like you can have, it takes up to 9 years to develop enough cancer cells to be detected on the man-made test.
Right.
So if you have 8 years of cancer and you feel great, but on year 9 you're getting diagnosed, are you really healthy at year 8?
Yeah.
You're not. You got 8 years of cancer, you just don't know.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, and we're starting to see that shift where people are not waiting until the blood test tells them they're unhealthy. They're looking for that solution of what can I do right now? What is that testing I can know right now to where how my body is functioning right now, so I can be proactive and be healthier when I'm retired.
Well, and it's interesting because it's one of the guests I just had on my podcast, we were talking about intuition and tapping back into that. Now, we all got here because of evolutionarily, we listen to our gut. Our somatic system is unbelievable at knowing what's going on before our conscious brain is actually aware, right? So the whole fight or flight, whatever, all of that fight or flight thing, when we become aware that something dangerous, our bodies have probably already, and again, we're talking sometimes a few seconds, but it doesn't matter. Like, our brain is and our body and our somatic system is picked up that something isn't right. So going on that, if you feel that, like, listen, your body will actually tell you if something isn't quite right. And if you actually stop and go, yeah, I keep feeling that, like, I'm not walking, I don't feel like my gait is right. Maybe you go see a chiropractor. Turns out that before it becomes a much bigger issue, you're able to get an adjustment and go, oh, look, fixed it. The same way that if our car, we notice a little ping or something like that, you go, let me go, I keep hearing that, let me go have that checked out before I'm on the side of 680 and the engine's smoking.
Yeah, it's totally the same with our health. Yeah, like we get the warning signs. Is like if we know what it is or we know how to listen to it. Yeah. Or if we know what is the solution. You know, like, our current healthcare system is great with like crisis situations. It'll save your life. But if you're not walking right, they have a trouble to diagnose or where to go with that. Absolutely. So it's kind of like a lot of times people don't know that either chiropractic or whatever physical sort of therapy could help them, which they're kind of like, well, I don't want that, but they don't know what the other option is. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And look, I have benefited from chiropractic care when I was running. I was getting regular adjustments because I was aware that all of those miles I was doing was compressing my spine. I was putting a lot of strain on all of my body and on my nervous system. And I felt great, and I didn't have nearly as many injuries as other people who weren't getting chiropractic care. Now look, we're all individuals and different stuff. However, if you take care of yourself, as a baseball player, if you take care of yourself, you tend to stay doing well. Oh, for sure. And you're coming from more of like an athletic background too, but you think about like the people who are just sitting behind the desk. Oh gosh, yeah. Those postures, forward head posture, and just slower metabolism, and we call that a micro trauma. We got traumas like car accidents, slips and falls, but what people don't notice is like you sitting there behind the desk, or even like construction workers, repetitive actions, shoveling, digging, or whatever it may be, those accumulate in the body. Yep. And so if you could identify like what your habits are and how much stress to put on, you almost got to treat your body like that. That's your sport now. Yep. Whether it be work or what kind of work it is, that's your sport. Right. And you got to be in shape for it. Right. Or you're just going to, put yourself at risk. Absolutely. Now here's a question with the proliferation of smartphones. Have you seen an uptick with people having upper cervical, i.e. neck, issues? Or are you doing a lot more adjustments because... Oh, for sure. There's a lot more damage. Well, we see it a lot in the younger populations. Definitely. Like, we had a patient come in, 19 years old, with bone spurs in her neck. Wow. So the degeneration is now setting in more, and the more degeneration, the more stress on the nervous system. Definitely. And, and then it affects the organs, tissues, glands, affects the biochemistry and everything like that. So I had one patient, very similar. She came in for sciatica, but she also had lupus. I don't know if you're familiar with lupus.
I
but
am.
Autoimmune disorder, right?
Yep.
Body's just attacking itself. She was on cholesterol medications for 10 years, could barely even walk. And then as we go through her program, she was able, she went back to the doctor, because with her lupus, her kidneys were shut down. But it was like after the 3rd month, she went back to her doctor, and her kidney function rose back up to normal.
Wow.
She didn't change anything diet-wise, anything exercise-wise. Her doctor took her off her cholesterol medications, and she was able to walk 7 miles, no pain.
Wow.
And it kind of goes back to how the body's ability to heal itself.
Yep.
When you start removing what's interfering with that natural process.
Definitely. Definitely. That is so interesting. And obviously, some people really love chiropractic. Other people are like, nah, I'm not so sure. But obviously, there's a lot of benefit that one can have to obviously try and keep ourselves literally in alignment, both physically, skeletally, but also just holistically.
Oh, for sure. I mean, they do studies now on seniors under chiropractic care. And they show that seniors under chiropractic care spend 31% of the national healthcare average just on medical bills.
Sure.
They showed that they're more able to do strenuous exercise. I don't know if they are doing strenuous exercise, but they have the ability to do strenuous exercise. But there's the idea is to put it in your lifestyle, not as just an add-on, but something you incorporate, that you do consistently to build that resilience in your nervous system and health.
Absolutely. Well, Tommy, I want to thank you so much for coming in. This has been so fascinating to learn more about chiropractic and the work that you've done. Thank you so much for what you do to help so many people here in the East Bay.
Well, yeah, for sure. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
And just, what is the name of your chiropractic?
Yeah, so we're the New Health Chiropractic Center, located in Concord. And I tell you what, if you want to get your spine evaluated and you're interested in checking out the services, go and reach out. We're the New Health Chiropractic Center. And you mentioned this, I'm going to take care of the cost for your first evaluation.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, I want to remind everyone that if you're ready to begin your epic journey, go to epicbegins.com. And as always, remember, epic choices lead to the epic life that you want.